Hi, I'm Jason Gore for ThatShelf.com, and we're here to talk about Jacques Audiard's EMILIA, PEREZ.
ThatShelf.
So, EMILIA, PEREZ stars, and I'm going to get this right, it stars Karla Sofía Gascón, Selena Gomez, yes, that's Selena Gomez, Zoe Saldana, and Edgar Ramirez in this crazy, wild, musical, gangster film, drama, just unbelievably interesting, dramatic, strongly realized film by this filmmaker who's sort of almost, it's ridiculous because he's obviously got incredible international attention and has done very, very well on the French stage. But for me, it's just like over the years, he keeps making movies I love. Palm winner with things like Deepan. His last film, which for me was just such a beautiful, beautiful, almost nouvelle vague in its construction. And now here he is doing a crazy, wild film that mixes all these different disparate elements all into one. It's essentially the story of a woman who starts working for a cartel leader, and the cartel leader wishes to have her assist him. This major spoiler, obviously, but actually has him wanting to become a her. And so you have this transgender.
Don't spoiler it.
You have this transgender, complete complicated way of actually navigating this stuff. And if that's all this film was, if it was like somehow some sort of sentimentalized version of somebody actually transitioning, somebody that you wouldn't necessarily expect to go through this based on our own stereotypes and our own views, that would be one thing. But truly, what happens in this film is it completely disabuses any of those sort of stereotypical cliches. You have something that's weird and strange and wonderful, and by using the mechanism of the musical itself, by actually making things this heightened reality, it actually allows a much, much deeper exploration of the really deep themes that the film actually deals with. Namely, you believe that a change in your life is actually going to make your life better, and it just brings different levels that don't necessarily completely conform to whatever your expectations are, even something as seemingly radical as doing a medical transformation. The performances are extraordinary. I love drumline. There's no person on this channel will be surprised. I love a drumline. So to have Zoe Saldana in something that's even tangentially related to musicals is a wonderful thing. Selena Gomez is great. But yeah, it's the way that these characters integrate within the greater storyline that truly makes it the most impactful. Stylistically, it's fabulous. The music's okay. It's good to okay, but it's certainly in keeping with the tonality to do. But there are moments that remind of other palm-winning masterpiece, something like what Lars von Trier did with Dance from the Dark. There's one particularly excellent sequence which I kind of wanted a little bit more of, where you actually have the rhythm of getting weaponry together and how all of that sort of plays out. So the collision between the rhythmic aspects, the way the film is cut, etc. We see a lot of quote-unquote musicals here at festivals like this, and a lot of them are made by people who don't really like musicals. I'm thinking of Annette, where you have this sort of half-realized thing. You just throw a bunch of music, and it feels sort of like a music video. This feels integrated. Maybe it doesn't have as much music as maybe somebody would actually necessarily want, but the way that it plays out, this sort of balance between the sort of broad, giant moments of sheer sort of musical ecstasy and the much more intense dramatic elements, even violent elements, all sort of integrated all in one is really what makes it, I think, quite special. The fact that it echoes things like, some pretty phenomenal films is actually absolutely fascinating, but you've certainly not seen, even though the ingredients are there, you've never seen anything quite put together exactly like this is. So it feels both incredibly energizing, but also supremely engaging. Fantastic direction. It's such an amazing filmography. It's such an amazing way of actually making all this stuff actually work out. And to see this cinematic vision brought up that feels incredibly experimental and yet incredibly accessible in the broadest sense. You're seeing something that is weird and strange and wonderful, and yet you're seeing something that is truly, truly compelling. I think it's a wonderful thing to experience. If possible, I know I'm late in this review to actually say it, but if possible, go in the way I did it, which is knowing absolutely nothing. Just go see the brand new Audiard. That's all you're going to get. If you're talking to your friend, you've already seen it, I'd love to know in the comments about what you thought. But if you're ever telling anybody, just say, hey, there's a new Audiard film, go see it, before anybody ruins some of the surprises. But the fact of the matter is, I don't think the film requires these to be surprises. These are not shock moments. What is shocking is how beyond those moments there's so much more richness and so much more character, not only in the characters themselves, but in the actual way that the film plays out. For thatshelf.com, I'm Jason Gorber. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, follow us on social media, and we will see you next video. All the best. Take care.
Big Shelf.